My name is Holly Andres, and I'm in the Koch Gallery in San Francisco. And this is a series of photographic work that is on exhibition here. In this body of work, there is a group of girls who are discovering forbidden knowledge, which is a metaphor for the precarious transition from girl to woman. I'm very interested in that space that lies in between when a young woman feels simultaneously empowered but also threatened by her newfound sexuality. The title of the show is SPARROW LANE, and I am creating this fictitious space as though these girls are sleuthing around a grand old estate. But actually they are shot in various different locations. Most of them are shot in my house. And my house doesn't exactly look like this. Oftentimes people will say, where did you find this really great house? And really, I labor and spend quite a bit of time creating almost like an installation that is then activated with the characters. So for example, in Behind the Old Painting, I'm creating this kind of old money wallpaper, and I had a hard time finding that type of wallpaper. And so what I did is I designed it on my computer and then printed it out in 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper and then hung it on the wall. And then in post, I covered up some of the seams. So as far as some of the aesthetics that I was exploring, I'm very interested in rich colors and texture and pattern. The work is in part influenced by Nancy Drew book covers. I had a conversation with Fiona, my friend who I've been photographing since she was 7 years old, and she was telling me with so much enthusiasm that she'd been reading the Nancy Drew books. And I too had read all of the Nancy Drew books as a child. And although I couldn't recall a single plot, I realized that many of the images on the cover were still embedded in my mind. And I had been wanting to create a photo project of adolescent girls in these more empowering depictions. And Nancy Drew, the sleuth, is consistently one of the most clever, smart, and empowered role models for young girls. So I revisited the Nancy Drew book covers and felt really inspired by the melodramatic body language and the startling but lovely expressions on their faces, and the way that the separation of the fingers and the way that their hands framed the scene. As far as kind of some of my technical process goes, my background is in painting and drawing, and so I've never really aligned myself with the theory of the camera being this agent of truth. And part of that is the artifice of working with a large format camera. These were all shot on a 4x5 camera, which is a very extensive process, setting it up, dialing in the lights, and I should note, my husband, Paul Rich, is a fabulous technical collaborator. And so I felt as though I wanted to exploit that artifice of them being hyper dramatic and very mannered. The work has this overarching layer of examining sexuality, but obviously there's no explicit sexuality, nor is there any explicit violence. I mean, potentially they're embarking on a crime scene, but there's never a murder weapon or blood or a body. And I wanted, I guess I'm interested in that impending threat, and that loss of innocence is what interests me most. And so again, while they are empowered by these newfound objects or by this forbidden knowledge, there is clearly also, I think, some sort of impending threat as well.